Last year, the first chapter of the brand new installment of the King's Quest series was finally released. Developed by the Odd Gentleman, these new adventures of King Graham have been a fun experience over the last couple of months, and we have now come to the finale in the game's fifth and final chapter, The Good Knight. Before I jump in, just be aware that I will be talking about some mild spoilers from the previous chapter, as this is a reflection of not just the final chapter, but the game as a whole. So put on your adventurer cap, and let's embark on the final journey of King's Quest.
Remember your promise?
Chapter 4 ended with Gwendolyn, King Graham's granddaughter, discovering that Graham will soon die. The elderly king is fading, and it looks like his time in the kingdom of Daventry will soon be over. However, Graham says that his magic mirror has promised him one last adventure, despite his failing body. Gwendolyn, facing the reality of losing her beloved grandfather, asks him to tell one last story.
I need to know why.
Why? I thought it would be nice to have an adventure outside these walls with the whole family.
No, not that. I need to know why the doctors can't fix you. There has to be a magical fruit that can cure you, or a spell to extend your life. I just can't believe that you're only suffering from old age.
Take a seat. There are a few more stories I have yet to share.
Sadly, Graham's memory is also fading, and at several points over the course of the chapter, Gwendolyn has to help Graham along to complete the story. Manny, aka the evil goblin wizard Manannan, has been the primary antagonist across the game's 4 chapters, and he's back for one final showdown in the game's last chapter. Having given up trying to take the kingdom of Daventry for himself, Manannan just wants to see Graham suffer, and prove that he is the smarter of the two. One of the things I've loved the most about this new King's Quest game is how all the stories blend pretty seamlessly with the gaps in the story from the original King's Quest series. Whether you consider it a reimagining or a true continuation of the series, I've highly enjoyed these in-between stories, and the final chapter might be the best of the lot. There are still plenty of great humorous moments like Wenty's song.
Well, hogs are baked with magic, they're abstract works of art. But hogs don't need equipment, cause they come right from the heart. Hogs you'll find are easy if you learn my recipe. First I'll grab you...
But most of all, I found the conclusion of this game to be quite moving, and the ending is a perfect way to end this chapter of King's Quest, and maybe someday begin a new one.
King Grandpa, the greatest adventurer to ever live, would do anything in his power to protect his family.
The gameplay of King's Quest has been a nice blend of old and new elements from adventure games. Puzzle solving is still the main focus here, and there are some real good brain teasers in this final episode. Unlike the previous episode, which was mostly just variations of the same type of puzzle, the puzzles in The Good Knight have a nice amount of variety. You'll be exploring the same environment from the first chapter of the game, but things can change due to Graham's fading memory, and you'll actually have to use this memory loss to solve some of the game's puzzles.
And the space into a sandbox that all the children of Daventry could enjoy.
Hey, how come I never got to play in that sandbox?
Your father was always paranoid about badgers doing their business in there, and would never let me take you.
The choices you made in previous episodes do have somewhat of an impact in The Good Knight. The version of Valanice you chose from Chapter 3 will be here, and the townsfolk you were most friendly with will show up one more time. There's a touching moment late in the game where you can look back on all your previous big choices. While the choices may not have made too many drastic changes to the story, they were a fun touch to tailor Graham's story to your preference. The music and visuals in this game are as beautiful as ever. The animations are very smooth, and the colors and environments are gorgeous. The music is equally pretty, with softer, more somber takes on the classic King's Quest theme. The soundtrack truly amplifies the emotion of this last chapter.
I'm just not ready for you to go.
Listen to me. I am not leaving you. Not yet. The mirror promised me one final adventure.
But the doctors, they said...
Has the magic mirror led us astray before? I'll be here for one more adventure, no matter what any doctor says.
Over the past year, it has been a delight to play through this brand new entry into the King's Quest franchise, and now, after completing the whole game, I can say it is one of my favorites in the series. You can tell the developers had a lot of respect for this classic series by the way they paid homage to it, with the occasional poke at some of its sillier elements. Seeing Graham go from a young adventurer to an elderly king has been a fun and emotional ride, and even if this series never receives another entry, this is an almost perfect way to end the story of King's Quest. This is an excellent adventure game and well worth checking out for both fans and newcomers. Adventure is out there, and you don't want to miss it.
Daventry continues to thrive and prosper, thanks to the sacrifices made by King Graham, the greatest grandpa to have ever lived.
Thank you for watching this episode of Game Reflections. What are your thoughts on King's Quest? Feel free to share in the comments below. Until next time, keep having great adventures, everyone.
I can't figure out if something just broke or snapped back into place.